Today I want to talk to you about how to choose a property manager or a property management department. So what to look for when choosing a property manager. First of all, I would say the number one rule is that you like them. This is someone that you're going to have a pretty long-term relationship with, and you have to feel comfortable in their ability, and you have to like the person that they are. So that's rule number one. Rule number two is someone who knows their rent roll intimately. So they should be able to tell you what properties they have under management in certain streets, they should know that number 10 in Smith Street is getting $350 a week and number 12 gets $370. They should be that involved with their rent roll that they can tell you how much rent, but you need to be confident in their ability to understand their rent roll and know their market. So that's a big one. Number three, I wouldn't go for the biggest rent roll, the biggest property management department in the area. I've just found that they tend to have a higher staff turnover, and there's not that sense of relationship between your property manager and you as the owner. You might feel a bit like the big banks where you're treated more like a number. So I wouldn't also go for the smallest agency in town, but one that's middle of the range, who you are confident has a good mix of properties that are similar to yours, so that they know the market intimately. Number four, I would choose an agent who has a commitment to undertake inspections. So they should be committing to you to do at least one inspection within the first 3 months. And by inspection, I mean periodic inspection. So the tenant's already in the property and they're going to go in and check on how they're looking after the place. So one within the first 3 months, and then assuming there's no problems, every 6 months after that. Number five, they should be taking lots of photos. This day and age, digital cameras, there's no reason not to. So at their ingoing inspection, before the tenant moves in, when they're noting the condition of the property, there's no reason why you shouldn't have 100 photos on file, because you can't argue with a photo. My interpretation of, finger marks on the wall is different to the next person's interpretation of that, but the photo shows exactly how that is. Number six, I really believe they need to be organised. Now, you'll be able to tell that by the way that they make their appointment with you, the documentation that they present to you, the way they're presented themselves, the way their office looks, their local reputation. All of these things will help you build the picture. They need to have a zero tolerance to arrears. And by that I mean they have to have a policy that they follow for everybody, regardless of who you are or what you're going through. So, as an example, if I had a tenant come to me and say, look, I really can't pay the rent for 3 weeks, I've been sick, or, something's happened, I would say, that's fine. This is how it's going to work. I appreciate your situation. You've told me you can't pay for 3 weeks. So that means that I expect on the 4th week that you can pay, and work out, what their commitment is, how much they can pay. So on the first few days after you're in arrears, you'll get an SMS, just to remind you in case you didn't realise that your rent hadn't been paid. On the 7th day, you'll get a letter, so you've got it in writing, telling you that if the rent remains unpaid after 14 days, that you will be receiving a termination notice. Now, on that 15th day, you will receive a termination notice, but if you're genuine and I understand things go wrong, like you've told me you'll pay the rent on the 3rd or the 4th week, well then that termination notice will become void, because you've caught up and you've met your commitment. But I've done the right thing by the owner in following through and having a backup plan in place. They don't be driven by their fees. Don't go for the most expensive, don't go for the cheapest. Just go by the service that they're going to offer you. And if you can't decide on a property manager, ask around. Ask your friends and go by personal recommendation. It's the best way to find any service, really, isn't it? I mean, you want a new doctor, you ask your friends. You want a solicitor, you might ask people who you know have had issues or who've been in business, and people who you trust. So ask people who've got rental properties and see who they recommend. Meet with them, chat with them, judge their overall professionalism, the size of their rent roll, how you think that they will go managing your particular property, and you're on the right track. Your property manager's job is to guide you in making your rental investment the most stress-free investment it can be. So their job is to collect the rent, pass it on to you, and make sure the property is maintained. Really, it's a quite simple job if they get all the initial steps right. But good luck in choosing your property manager. And if you've got any questions, if there's something that they haven't explained properly that you don't understand, just give me a call. Thanks.